saying that the man who was standing at that counter selling drinks, that man is throughout the novel called as the orange drink, lemon drink man. Okay, so he was sleeping, and suddenly he is disturbed by the sound of Esther singing. So then he notices Esther, and he keeps waiting. Okay, he keeps wiping the counter with his dirty rag, and he keeps waiting to see if Esther is actually alone or not. And when he realizes that Esther is alone, he calls out to him and says that, what are you doing? Should I punish you? Should I give a written complaint? He's trying to scare Esther first. Okay, but Esther does not reply to all of that, and then suddenly he goes on to say that, okay, you know what, since you have already disturbed me, come and buy some drinks from me. But Esther says that I don't have any pocket money. All right, so that is when the man starts mocking him. He മനസ്സിൽ വരും, ഓ ഇത് പോക്കറ്റ് മണി ഒക്കെ ഉള്ള വലിയ വീട്ടിലെ കൊച്ചാണല്ലോ, അപ്പോൾ എന്താ, ഓ പോക്കറ്റ് മണി ഒക്കെ ഉണ്ടോ എന്നൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞ് ആ ഒരു രീതിയിൽ കളിയാക്കുന്നു. Okay, and what happens next is a very, very gruesome act. Okay, what happens is he lures Esther into the stall, promising him a drink. All right, and Esther goes unwillingly, but he goes and he sits on the stool, and that is when he says that, just hold this for me, and he gives his penis into Esther's hand. All right, and what he's doing is that he is masturbating, and he's taking Esther's help for it. All right, and Esther is a child who does not know what is happening to him, but he feels like it's wrong. Okay, and on other hand, he has a drink. Okay, and he's asked to drink it, and that drink is called lemon flavored fear. All right, and then after this act is over, Esther feels very, very disgusted by this hand that has touched that man. Okay, and he, throughout the film, he holds his hand up like this because he does not want that hand to touch anything else. All right, and then after that, he calls it the sticky other hand. So he does not even want that hand to be part of his body anymore. And while he's watching that particular film, he goes back into the theater, and he's kept keeping his hand like this. And while he's watching that, there are some thoughts that come into his mind. Okay, I've highlighted that for you all. Yes, right. So this Baron von Trapp. All right, 1 second. Did I share? I did not. 1 second. Yeah. Can you see this? So look at this part. All right, this is a part of the novel. So I've highlighted this here. Look at this. Did Baron von Claptrap shiver his legs? So when they were watching the film, the two egg twins, okay, the Rahel and Esther, get some questions in their mind which need answers. The first question that they get is, does Baron von Claptrap, who is the main character in that film, who is the father of all those children, okay, does he shiver his leg? No, he does not, because earlier, before this, Baby Kochama and Ammu keep, I told you, right, what will Sophie Mall think week ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു അവർക്ക്. അവിടെ എന്താണ് ഈ വെറുതെ ആവശ്യമില്ലാതെ കാലുകൾ ഇങ്ങനെ വിറപ്പിക്കല്ലേ, because if they do that, what will people think? So good people don't do all of these things. Does he blow spit bubbles? Okay, does he gobble? All right, and look at this sentence here. Oh, Baron von Trapp, could you love this little fellow with the orange in the smelly auditorium? The orange is like, Hesta was holding his hand up like this, so it was almost like he was holding an orange. Okay, so earlier also we talked about how the twins always have a missing father figure in their life. All right, and they are very much wanting love from a father figure. All right, but here when they are watching the film, they want Esther. This is the thing that comes into Esther's mind. All right, he's just held the orange drink lemon man susu in his hand. Okay, so he feels disgusted. So could you love such a boy? All right, and that is when they imagine that Baron would ask them questions in return. And what is the question that they ask? Are they clean white children? They are not. But do they blow spit bubbles? Yes, they do. Do they shiver their leg like clerks? Yes. Have they held strangers susus? Yes. Okay, but to all of these questions, the answer for Sophie Mall is no. All right, so all these things are something that the twins do. So they are not good children in that definition, but Sophie Mall is a good girl because she does not do any of those things. All right, so that is when in their imagination the Baron says that, no, I cannot love them, I cannot be their Baba. All right, so that want for love is there within the twins. And they feel like now that this event has happened in Esther's life, they are even more deprived of love than they were before. All right. So then Esther comes back into the cinema hall, and then he feels very disgusted and he feels sick. Okay, and that is when he feels like he's going to vomit, and Ammu takes him out and takes him to the bathroom, but he cannot even vomit. He's just erecting, ഓക്കാനിക്കുന്ന പോലെ വരുവാണ്, but he's not actually vomiting. All right, and then what happens is that they decide to go because Ammu feels like he's going to become sick. Now another thing that happens here is, as Ammu is taking him out from the bathroom, the man, okay, he knows now that this boy has a mother with him. So what he does is that oh, you are from Aymanam, I know your pickle factory, this boy told me. Okay, appo idellam എസ്തായോട് ആദ്യം തന്നെ ചോദിച്ച് മനസ്സിലാക്കിയിരുന്നു എവിടെ നിന്നാണ് വരുന്നത് എന്താണെന്നുള്ളതൊക്കെ. Okay, so now what he's doing is, by telling this Ammu that I know where you live, I know your house, he's trying to warn Esther that you cannot say anything about what happened here to anyone, because if you do, I will come and find you. So he was trying to warn Esther, right? So what happens after this is that Ammu decides to take them all before the movie തുടങ്ങിയതേ ഉള്ളൂ അല്ലേ, പക്ഷെ they decide to go back because they don't want Esther to be sick when Sophie Mall arrives. So she goes back into the theater and takes our Rahel and baby Kochama out, and Rahel is very very angry because she wants to watch the rest of the film. All right, and as they are again coming out, this man tries to, that orange drink man tries to give some sweets to Rahel, and Rahel kochalle kanumbathekkum she tries to run towards him to get those sweets, but as soon as she comes near him, okay, she, something about his face, she freezes. All right, and she does not move forward, and Esther is like, no, no, don't go, I'll give you my sweet. So idinu mumba Esther he was just sweets കൊടുത്തിരുന്നു. So Rahel realizes that connection between them is so strong that Rahel realizes that Esther does not want her to go near that man. So then he gives her the sweet that he has. All right, and then they return to the hotel. Okay, they return to the hotel, and before that, while they're on their way, Ammu is saying that, oh, that orange drink man was so nice, he gave the children sweets for free, എന്നൊക്കെ പറയുമ്പോഴത്തേക്കും somehow that anger that is there within Esther was quiet then also. All right, so somehow that anger that is there inside Esther is coming into Rahel. So when she hears Ammu praise that man, suddenly she says that, oh, then why don't you go and marry him? Okay, and suddenly everything freezes. Okay, she was very sorry for what she said. She does not know where those words are coming from. All right, but now that they were out, they're not going to go back in. Ammu was very very angry. Okay, and what Ammu says here is a very very important word. See, look at this: when you hurt people, they begin to love you less. Okay, this is something that Ammu tells Rahel. Okay, so you have hurt me with your words and now I love you less. That's what careless words do. They make people love you a little less. So suddenly, because Rahel's words have hurt Ammu's feelings, this is what she feels. All right, and that is when suddenly Rahel feels like a cold moth with unusually dense dorsal tufts. Okay, what is this cold moth with dorsal tufts? Remember Papachi's moth, that is like a shadow of unhappiness that follows the family everywhere. So this Rahel na samethu തോന്നിയിരുന്നത് അതുപോലത്തെ ഒരു moth has landed on her heart. Okay, and it is touching her heart and she's getting goosebumps. Then they return to the hotel. All right, and Rahel continuously starts feeling like Ammu loves her a little less. Okay, she was very sad. She had the sadness of Sophie Mall coming. She knew that once Sophie Mall comes, they will not get the attention that they get now. Chaco will love his daughter more. Okay, Ammu already loves her less. So the sadness of Ammu, who loves her a little less, was already there within him. Okay, now look at the next sentence. And the sadness of whatever the orange drink, lemon drink man had done to Esther and Abhilash talkies. Okay, so even though Rahel was not present there, she feels like something has happened to Esther in that theater, and she knows that the orange drink, lemon drink man is the one who has done it. All right, so that is the immense connection that they have with each other. then after this, towards the end of this chapter, a little bit more past is unraveled to us. We are told the story of what happened between Chaco and Margaret Kochama. Okay, they were married when he was in London, and they had a child also. As soon as Sophie Mall was born, Chaco was very, very happy. But suddenly one day, when Sophie Mall was a small baby, Margaret Kochama comes and tells him that she does not love him anymore. She cannot continue to live with him because she is in love with another person, Joe. All right, and that is and she wants to get divorced from Chaco. And those nights, before he left her, every night Chaco would go and look at his sleeping baby daughter. All right, to remember her face, to try and remember her face. That was the last time that he has seen her in person, and he would keep looking at her all night. And now he's meeting her after all these years, and she's already 9 years old, right? And that is how the past about Chaco and Margaret Kochama is revealed. All right, and towards the end of the chapter, he's not falling asleep. A hotel room le കിടന്നുകൊണ്ട് ഈ കാര്യങ്ങൾ ആലോചിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുമ്പോഴാണ് he remembers that the workers in the factory might be influenced by that comrade KNM Pillai, and he might try to make them into a union and they might strike. All right, so he thinks that before KNM Pillai starts his own union, why not I organize them into a union of their own, and then they can cast votes and they will have some powers and all that. So that is how this particular chapter ends, right? Okay, the next chapter is God's Own Country, and by Friday, please read that particular chapter. I know you have your exams, but try and read it. Try and complete the novel by the end of the Onam vacations. Okay, try and complete the novel so that we can move on to the next part. So thank you. I hope this was clear.